It's a defection likely to rock the Syrian government. Its ambassador to Iraq, Nawaf, says he now supports the revolution.
I'm announcing my resignation as Syria's ambassador to Iraq. I'm also announcing my withdrawal from the Ba'ath Party, and I call on all party members to do the same, because the regime has used it as a tool to oppress the people and their aspirations to freedom and dignity. I'm announcing from this moment on that I'm siding with the revolution in Syria. It's my natural place in these difficult circumstances under which Syria is going through.
Last week, Brigadier General Nawaf left the army. He was part of Assad's inner circle and a close friend of the president. But that was the military. This is political.
I call on all the honorable and free people of Syria, especially those in the armed forces, to join me immediately in siding with the revolution in defense of the country and its citizens. Where is the honor in killing your countrymen? Where is the national allegiance? The nation is all the people, not one person in particular, and the allegiance is to the people, not a dictator who kills his people.
The former Iraqi ambassador is from the eastern city of Deir al-Zur. It's recently been hit hard by government troops.
It's a very hard blow to the Assad regime. This is the first senior diplomatic defection, the first Syrian ambassador who defects, and he goes publicly and says he defects because he basically opposes what the Syrian government has been doing.
Syria's fragmented opposition will now be hoping for more defections by senior public officials. Nicole Johnston, Al Jazeera.
Well, let's talk now to Bassam Imadi. He's Syria's former ambassador to Sweden. He joins us live now from Rome. Bassam Imadi, how significant is Nawaf Fares's defection, and what does this mean for the Assad regime?
Okay, good evening to you and your viewers. First of all, we should understand that Mr. Nawaf al-Fares was part of the regime for a very long time, and then perhaps a few years ago he was sent as ambassador, but he's not a diplomatic, he's not a career diplomat. So we should consider him one of the very, very close people to the regime. But still he defected because I think he could not bear anymore watching what is happening in Syria. First of all, we should also remember that he as ambassador is calling others like himself to resign, which means that others will follow suit, because as I said before, he was very close. He's another person to defect after Mr. Tlass, who was very close also to the president. We have also deputy minister who defected. But recently, these two defections by Mr. Tlass and by Mr. Fares are perhaps more important because they come at a time when the Free Syrian Army is controlling more regions, is controlling more cities. So I think people have started jumping ship and realizing that the end of Assad is very close.
So your assessment is that it's quite a significant defection. This happened as Kofi Annan was briefing the Security Council. Annan says his peace plan is still the way to go and urged Security Council members to show there'll be consequences if Syria doesn't abide by the ceasefire. Let me ask you, Bassam Imadi, what does he mean by consequences? Is he talking about military intervention or sanctions?
I doubt very much that he means any military intervention. First of all, because countries don't really seem to have the will or the desire to make any real military intervention on the lines of Libya or Iraq or anything else. And I personally think that it will be far from any intervention. He might mean that those consequences would be a civil war or something like that. But let me say, please, that Annan's plan is dead. There is nothing peaceful about it anymore. His visit to Damascus was meaningless because we know very well that Bashar Assad refused all the initiatives. He did not implement any item of the plans that were put before him, and I don't understand why Mr. Annan went again to Syria, although his plan was a failure. He himself said it was a failure.
So if you say Kofi Annan's plan is a failure, let me ask you then about the Russians, because we know that Russia is putting some pressure on the Assad regime to talk to its adversaries. Some members of the opposition, though, say there's little reason to believe that Russia will change its position to foreign intervention. What's your assessment of Russia's role in all of this, then?
Well, seemingly, Russia is changing its position, but in fact, it's not changing anything. What they changed, perhaps, was the unlimited support to Bashar Assad himself. Maybe at the beginning, they didn't want him to step down, but now they say they don't mind if he leaves. But I think, and I'm pretty sure, that they want the regime to stay. They want, perhaps they would accept Bashar Assad to leave, but they don't want the regime to be moved. They have a lot to lose if the regime is going to change. First of all, they will lose all the influence in the region. They'll be out of the region. This is the last place they exist in the Middle East.
Okay.
And there are other fears concerning Russian, Turkish influence, about the former Soviet republics, about Chechnya, all these matters.
All right, Bassem Mahdi, thank you for talking to Al Jazeera.